Brand new It's in the Game podcast here on the BallisLife podcast network, which you can find on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can now find the full video on the Cruise Control podcast network on YouTube. As always, I'm joined by my guy Denny Blanco, who's on Twitter and Instagram at I am Denny Blanco. Oh man, how you doing?
We're here, Randy. It's BallisLife. We here. The playoffs is here.
Right.
We've seen some things. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
No problem, man. I see you have your Brooklyn Net hat on. You're ready for the game three with the Raptors. I don't know when you were a Brooklyn Net fan. That's a whole different conversation for a different day. But if you want to tell me when you were a brand new Brooklyn Net fan, you can tell me right now.
Listen, I left the Knicks as a Knicks fan when they traded Carmelo Anthony. I was disgusted. I was angry. I was upset. As soon as they picked up Kyrie Irving, I became a Brooklyn Nets fan.
Wow. So you're a Kyrie and KD bandwagon fan.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The truth.
At least you admit that.
The truth just cuts more. You know what I mean? Like straight. There's no need to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to die with a team that does not respect me, does not respect my wishes, makes terrible general manager decisions. I'm not going to ride with a team like that. I'm going to pick and choose who I support. And now it's the Brooklyn Nets.
Wow, you know what? I think you're doing it on purpose because I'm a big Knicks fan. I think you're doing it on purpose because I didn't tell you wear no hats for the show. I got my throwback Sonics hat on. You got a current Brooklyn Net hat on. I think you're doing it on purpose, bro. I don't like that.
You don't got to think. I'm doing it on purpose.
So we got the playoffs going on. We got the draft lottery last night. Again, me being a Knicks fan, listen, I'm gonna say that for the end, but. I recall 2 months ago, we did a show in June about like when the playoffs, when the restart happens, you want to see a potential Lakers Portland first round series. You said no matter what happens, you want Portland and the Lakers in round one, LA number one, Portland number 8. And they got to it. They went through all the teams. They got through Memphis in the play-in game. They went through game 2 last night against the Lakers. But I know you were a very happy man because you wanted Dame, you wanted CJ, you wanted Melo and Nurkic with a full roster to play against the Lakers because you felt LA would have problems with that roster. And game 1, Portland did win. Game 2, LA won last night in a blowout. So real quick, how happy were you to see Portland in that 8th spot? They get the Lakers. It's 1-1 now. How do you feel about that? And do you feel like maybe Portland still had a chance after what you saw from last night?
Listen, Portland always has a chance, number one, because they are dealing with they have an MVP candidate, which is Damian Lillard. Number 2, this team healthy has enough bodies to throw at LeBron James and Anthony Davis to make it difficult. I just wanted to be entertained. Like the watching the Marvel movie, The Avengers. I just want to be entertained. I want to see the superstars go at it. And if the Lakers were playing some bum team, it wouldn't have worked. Give me 1 second, baby girl. I need that charger. My laptop's about to die, and I don't want that. Listen,
Already?
I've been on it all day. Talking to people about the Knicks and where they stand.
Here we go. You're going to blame the Knicks, right, for your laptop charger?
Baby girl, I need that laptop charger.
And we're live, too. Come on.
And we're live, too. Listen, we're not going to sugarcoat anything. It looks like the Lakers are just having a terrible time finding shooters. They just can't put the ball in the basket. And I don't know how long that's going to last. And I pray that it lasts long because that would be the upset. It would be one of the biggest upsets that we've seen in a long time.
I think it would be. I think, I'm not a Trailblazer fan like that, but big fan of Dame, big fan of CJ. I'd rather die with Carmelo. And I think what you mentioned 2 months ago, the fact that they're getting Nurkic back healthy, and they didn't have him prior to the whole bubble games and everything. So getting him back on board, him giving you 20 and 20 and 20 and 15 a night, to go along with those guys. And you see, like Dame averaged 38 a game in the bubble, and they won game one, which took a lot of people by surprise to a degree. And I think bottom line is, man, like, can the Lakers really defeat Portland in six now? Can Portland take it to seven? Dame has a dislocated finger from last night, so it's a lot of questions. But I think for me, if I saw LA New Orleans, I would have been like, sweep, right? If I saw LA and Phoenix, it could have been interesting to see how Phoenix would have played against them. 8-0 still in the bubble, but could they have gotten a game? Maybe. But I think the best matchup for the Lakers was Portland. Remains to be seen what happens, but I don't know, man. Portland's tough. And again, there's no home court advantage. And I think that's the spicy thing about this whole thing. It's not like, oh, we're gonna fly to Portland for game three. Nah, we're all in the same building, same gym. And LeBron played better last night. AD played better last night. I think Portland had one of those games where it was like, all right, we've been going at it too hard, too long. It's like, all right, we need to stop, a break, come back, reconvene in game three, and we get it popping. So I think game three can be pivotal. If Portland wins game three, I know you'll be a very happy man at home, bro. Oh, let me find out you froze.
There you go.
There you go. All right, there you go.
Sorry about that. You know, it's New York City Wi-Fi.
I mean, you are by the Fortran, so
Listen, you got to get places. Okay, so we were talking about the Portland and LA Lakers. Look, you have to understand. Portland, obviously, they have players on their team that are not scared of anything, and they're playoff ready. They have been through some wars and some battles. Right. What I find very interesting is last night's game. If Hassan Whiteside actually played like a 7-footer, they probably would have won the second game.
Okay.
Hassan Whiteside, I don't know what his plus minus was, but Jesus Christ, he gave us nothing yesterday. Mm-hmm. Rebound. I mean, you got a couple of blocks here and there. Don't get me wrong, but no rebounds, no fear at the rim, nothing. So, quite frankly, I think this is going 7 games. I did pick the Lakers to win in 7.
Right.
But we shall see.
When I did the preview show, I said either LA in 6 or Portland in 7. Now, I'm still a big LeBron fan. Do I want LeBron out the first round? Probably not.
Don't matter. Take that L.
I know. I mean, if they take an L, they take the L. But I don't know, man. You want LeBron, try to see how far he can go to get that 4th ring. Kawhi's trying to get his 3rd ring. Giannis trying to get his 1st. A lot of different storylines going on. But to have the Lakers out the first round, I mean, if it happens, it happens. You know, I don't play the game. I don't make the schedule. You know, they play it out. But I think Game 3 is pivotal for Portland with the Dame injury. He said he's playing. It don't matter to him. I like what Nurkic is doing. You know, I'm gonna ride it down with Carmelo. I know we spoke about him months ago about him coming back, him getting that opportunity with Portland. I think it was a perfect fit, the perfect time, where you had pretty much 3 20-point-per-game scorers above him with Dame, CJ, and Nurkic, and Melo can play the back role. Like, all right, I'm a 10-time All-Star. I can get 25 when I want, but you know now I can live with getting 15 a game when I can. So just seeing him back in the fold, back in the league, and getting that prime opportunity to play in the playoffs against LeBron, I'm still happy about that for Carmelo.
Yeah, I'm happy for Melo. I'm happy for the team in general because they embraced him.
Mm-hmm.
They realized what they were receiving in Carmelo Anthony. Unlike the Houston Rockets, unlike OKC, they didn't realize what they were receiving when they received Carmelo Anthony.
Right.
And the whole team understood there's a future Hall of Famer. There's the guy who can score between 15 and 20 points in his sleep. He can post. He can dribble. He can shoot spot-up threes. He can create a shot if you put him in the corner. So I find it interesting when you sit back and look at the Lakers. Technically, you have 2 guys that are starting that you can give the ball to in the corner and say, "Give me a bucket."
Right.
LeBron and AD, right? When you have Portland, you can have Damian give you a bucket.
Yep.
You can have Melo give you a bucket. You can have CJ give you a bucket, and
Right.
you can have the new rookie. You know who that is, right? Trent. Is it Trent Jr.?
Gary Trent Jr.
You have 4 guys you can put in the corner and say, "Give me a bucket." That technically could start, if you will, starting right now.
Right.
Unfortunately, you have the power forward that's starting. I think Wendell's his name. I think he's a new player too.
Yeah.
But other than that, the Lakers, the J.R. Smith, you had a J.R. Smith sighting last night. You had Dion Waiters sightings last night. They can create their own shots, but they're not starting. So
Right.
it's going to be interesting to see what Mr. Vogel does
Frank
down the
Vogel.
line.
Yep.
Mr. Frankie Vogel. Sounds like a 60s singer. What Frankie Vogel does down the line. It's going to be interesting to see, but it's entertainment. The entertainment value is where it needs to be.
And I think both teams missing players kind of evens out. So LA, they don't have Bradley, they don't have Rondo. Portland don't have Ariza. So like they both have key components where on the defensive end they don't have. So I don't know, man. I really think that I think if LA wins Game 3, then I see like maybe 5 or 6. Because part of me thinks like, all right, is Portland going too fast, too hard to even get to this spot? And now it's like, you play ball, you find yourself in a spot where it's like you're tired, you're fatigued, just to get to this spot, and you get the 1 seed the Lakers, and then you got to try to beat them 4 times in a matter of a week and a half. At some point, does it catch up to you? But I think Portland last night just had a day off. It is what it is. They come back stronger in Game 3, and we'll see what it is. But just to see LA be down 0-1, we saw Milwaukee down 0-1. I guess the Magic, they tied that up real quick. I think Milwaukee would get that done in 5. That's just me. The Clippers tied up with the Mavericks now. So the top 3 teams that people expect to be in that finals contention, Milwaukee, Clippers, and the Lakers, are either one up with everything. So what's your take on the Mavericks and the Clippers, and see what you've been saying from Luka so far?
If it wasn't for, and with all due respect, excuse my French, if it wasn't for a pussy-ass ref, a pussy-ass ref who shall remain nameless. I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt by saying your name. The Mavs should be up 2-0. They have no answers for KP. None. They have no answers for KP. He's just a unicorn. He's too tall. He's too long. He can shoot threes. He can post. He can dribble around you. He can go through you. Damn. Didn't the Knicks have him? So
why want to bring that up?
All right, my fault.
We did have him. We traded him.
Yeah, sidebar. So when it comes back to the Clippers, you got Paul George not playing well. You have Kawhi only one doing what he's supposed to do. Everyone else is playing so-so, and we're supposed to be relying on the Clippers defense to help them win these games. And quite frankly, Baby Bird.
Nah, Luka's a problem, man. Luka's
Baby Bird.
Like we had conversations with like friends and everything. Like who is your top 5 favorite players to watch right now? I'm not saying the essential top 5, but who is the top 5 players that you like to watch right now? So Luka's one of them. I still got LeBron. Luka's one of them. Devin Booker is going to be there. People could say Giannis, Kawhi, James Harden, but Luka, man, second year in the league, rookie of the year last year, up for most improved this year, which I don't think he'll get. Listen, he did improve. He's an all-star. He's getting triple doubles. He's not getting Jason Kidd type triple double with his 15, 10, and 10. He's getting like 35, 18, and 17 like at will. and the Clippers don't have a stopper for that. I know Pat Bev, they're not playing game 2, so we'll see how that changes game 3. But like you mentioned, could the Mavericks be up 2-zip? A very, very strong possibility if KP does not get thrown out of game 1. I thought it was bullshit. I think everybody on Twitter thought it was bullshit. People outside of Twitter thought it was bullshit. But it makes for an interesting series. Again, no home court plays into the Knicks. So, um, can the Clippers really be out the first round? I don't know, man. I think they'll turn up. Paul George got to play better. We all know that. I think LA also getting their pieces together at the same time with the Lou Wills and the Montrezl Harrell and just getting everybody together at the same time. We'll see what happens, but um, I'm always a fan of the underdog. I'm a fan of the Mavericks in the series. I'm a fan of Portland in the Lakers series. Do I think they'll win? No, because TV people want to see LA and Clippers go as far as the conference finals, bro.
You listen. When a team is hot, it don't matter what you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Now you mentioned before. You mentioned if the Blazers may be fatigued, and you mentioned
Yeah.
the Clippers now in terms of fatigue. Right now they were going into the bubble trying to get chemistry. So that's what the Clippers are trying to get right now, which is chemistry.
Right.
They don't have it. But what we're seeing now, how players play in a neutral zone. How players play without fans gassing up the refs into calls,
Mm-hmm.
gassing up other players. We're seeing exactly what happens when you strip away everything.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have is the clock, your teams, and the ref and the ball. What players do. We're seeing a lot of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see where this defensive energy comes from, because usually you get that from your home crowd. It's going to be interesting to see where this defensive energy comes from when it comes to the Clippers, because if they don't find it soon, they're going to get
Mm-hmm.
sent home very quickly. Baby Bird ain't playing around.
Oh no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Baby Bird is not Baby Bird. For all those who don't know, we're talking about when I say Baby Bird,
And the fact is,
talking about Luca.
everybody kept saying that the Clippers are top defensive team in the league or top 2, top 3 with Paul George and Kawhi there. And you're talking to me. I'm looking at Lucas. I know it's 2 games, but again, second-year player as your point guard,
Baby,
35, 8-8
he's a baby.
against the Clippers.
He's a baby.
And I think, he's one of those guys that just makes it look so easy. And like you can't guard him. You can't stop him, bro. Like he's 21 years old. You can't stop him.
I watched. Obviously, I've been because also too, which is interesting because Dallas on the West Coast. A lot of people haven't seen him play because he's
Right.
on the West Coast. So
Mm-hmm.
we're starting. For those who don't know about Luka already, we're starting to see him play and see what he's about. What's interesting is because he's 6'4", about the same size as Jason Kidd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not as fast. But what you realize is once he does his hesitation handle and he gets you on your shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
he puts his off arm on you. So you can't get around him. That's what he was doing to Kawhi. Every time he did the hesitation,
Mm-hmm.
if he got a high screen or he didn't. Once he got into the hesitation and you froze and he got by you, he would put his elbow out and leave it there. So Kawhi would have trouble, and Paul George as well would have trouble trying to get around him. Even Paul George got into foul trouble because he was just like, "Oh, I'm going to reach."
Right.
And I'm like, Paul, what are you doing? Like, he just got himself into foul trouble for no reason. But it seems that Luka has picked up on the little intricacies, nuances of the game that you don't learn until 27, 28 years old. He's
Yeah.
picked up now because, yes, he's played with professionals from 13, 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and he hasn't played bad. He's played very, very well. This is a phenom. This is what you
Yeah.
when you see the word or hear the word phenom. This is what you have.
I mean, his step back is crazy too. I know we talk about James Harden step back three, but Luke is right up there, man. Like you can't stop that. And
He's
then
not shooting. He's not even shooting a high percentage, and that's the crazy
no.
thing. He's when he hits it, he hits it. It looks pure when he releases it.
Mm-hmm.
Once his percentage starts going up,
I mean, listen, man. If he can stay healthy, and Porzingis stays healthy for a good 5, 6, 7 year run, I can't find a way to not even say that the Mavericks can't win a championship with those two guys.
top 4, top 5 team every year if they're together.
Right.
Simple.
And then I think if they add one more guy, I think they have to add one more guy, which is if Luke is the point, Porzingis is what is it 4-5? They might need like a 2-3. If they can get that in a draft or free agency to go along with that, and then you see like the Rockets ain't going to be at this level that they'll decline at some point. The Lakers too, the Clippers at some point.
Well, listen. The Rockets are getting away with murder. If you ask me, I mean, at this point, they're getting away with maiming, assaulting Steven Adams. They're getting away with it. The last games, if I'm not mistaken, OKC is down 2-0.
Yes. 0-2, yeah.
I watched the first whole game and the second game. I watched a little bit of it. The Houston Rockets got hot towards the end, so that's one thing. But the first game, PJ Tucker, Harden, they were assaulting Steven Adams,
right?
And they were allowed to do it. So I want to see how far the Houston Rockets can take that type of defense onto a big man. Are they going to be able to do that against AD or KP? I don't think so.
Right. And I had shit. My pick was terrible. I had OKC like in 7. I'm looking. It might be a sweep, bro.
So did I, because I thought Steven Adams wouldn't be able to get maimed like that, and they're letting the defense.
Right.
They're letting James Harden and PJ Tucker get behind him and literally push him, maul him. Anytime he moves with the ball, they're all over him. And because Steven Adams doesn't have an offensive game like that, it's a little easier for them to get away with. I want to see if they're going to be able to do that with Jokic, KP, or AD. Do that to them. Let me see how well these referees are going to ref these games when it comes to a big man with offensive ability.
I mean, you mentioned it too. That's been a really tough series too, with Mitchell getting 57 in game 1. They tied up against Denver. I think that might go 7. Other series we've seen Philly down 0-2. I think it's going to be a wrap for them. Boston just too good, too much firepower. I know they lost Gordon Hayward for about a month.
Go on, Gordon. Go on.
I mean, like Gordon can be effective too, man. Like, you got Kemba, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and you get Gordon Hayward to do the 15, 18, 20 points per game role. Like, that's not bad either.
We'll take Gordon's bad defense. 15 to 20 points, right?
Right.
That's about an extra, let's say, 15 shots that need to be dispersed. We can take 5 shots, give them to Jaylen. 5 shots, give them to Kemba. 5 shots, give them to Smart. And the other shots we can give to the All-Star, which is Tatum.
Right.
Spread those points around. Defensively, I've never been a fan of Hayward. Never been a fan of him defensively. So for me, I'm thinking this is a plus minus.
So you had Milwaukee in the finals, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right? I did.
So I would assume they get past Orlando, right? But now if that happens, or when that happens,
yes,
they're gonna meet the Miami Heat in round 2. I think Miami Heat. I mean that's not a team people should sleep on. Butler out of Bayou, you got the Hero balling out, Duncan Robinson. They're clicking now. So
I love them. I love Miami. I love the coaching. I love their players. I love that they play inside out. I love that they play defense, and I love they're not scared of nobody. I love all of that.
But
I don't believe in them more than I believe in the Milwaukee team as a team, as a whole.
So you feel like your finals pick is in in little question when they get to Miami, right? You feel like the Heat can really probably knock off Milwaukee then.
No.
Or you feel like Milwaukee's going to beat Miami regardless?
Regardless. I mean, it may take 6, it may take 7. I just don't believe in as a unit, as a team. I don't believe in Miami more than I believe in Milwaukee. They've shown me more during the regular season. They played high level basketball, and they have MVP in Giannis who can affect both sides of the court. So I'm not going to take Miami, unfortunately. I love them, but I can't take them over Milwaukee.
So right now we have, I know there's more games on today, so we're not going to be on that much longer. But right now, LA Portland is 1-1. Clippers and Mavericks are 1-1. Utah, Denver 1-1. Houston 2-0 on the Thunder. In the East, we got 1-1 with the Bucks in Orlando. 2-0 Miami over Indiana. 2-0 Boston over Philly. And 2-0 Toronto over Brooklyn. And now, because you got that Brooklyn net hat on, I think LeVert's going to be a big-time player. I think not having KD and Kyrie for now really gives him the space to really create it and be in his own. So when they do come back, they'll get a 30-point scorer in Kyrie and a 30-point scorer in Durant, and they get a 20-point per game guy in Dinwiddie, and they get a 15, 20-point per game guy in LeVert.
Oh, don't forget the shooter Harris.
And Joe Harris.
Now he doesn't have to dribble.
I'm just saying, just to be, and again, I'm a Knicks fan, but I keep it real. But I think Brooklyn, when that team comes back together in full strength, fully healthy, bubble or an arena, it don't matter. We're looking at a top 3 team in the East. If they all stay healthy, of course. But just seeing what they play hard too. Jared Allen, there's a lot of pieces. Jordan, when he comes back, Chandler, that team is going to be stacked and loaded. I think Brooklyn's going to be
a problem.
A big problem. A problem where it's like, all right, when we do the predictions, Brooklyn got to go to the conference finals or the finals. They can't go any lower. But I'm not pushing Milwaukee to the side yet. I'm not pushing the defending champion Toronto to the side of Boston or Miami. I'm just saying
top 4.
Of course, they got to be top 4.
Top 4.
But if you get top 2, that's like, all right, now we're clicking, we're cooking, we're in business. But Brooklyn next year, man, problem.
Top 4, and I'll have your ticket ready. I'll give you a call. Be like, yo, I got your ticket. We're going to the next game, baby. I don't want to hear a click sound. I don't want to be like, hello, Randy? Hello, Randy? I don't want to hear none of that. You're coming with. I'm going to buy the popcorn.
I mean, if they're still doing the bubble games, they probably give you a virtual ticket, so you'd be in the crowd in the background with your little Brooklyn net hat on. Fugazi Brooklyn net fan since July of 2019. Get out of here, man. Real quick, what'd you make of Paul Pierce saying that LeBron is not in his top 5, which I don't expect to because of the battles they've had, which is whatever. But saying that if LeBron doesn't get out the first round, then he shouldn't be like in the GOAT conversation. What do you make about that?
Well, Paul Pierce, it's a lot to peel back from Paul Pierce. Let me start from the beginning. So Paul Pierce, obviously champion, very good player, was in the NBA, but he wasn't celebrated like your Kobe's or your Bron's or your Kyrie's or your Kyrie's or your Kevin Durant's. I don't think he was celebrated on that fan level as much as these other stars. And that could be because his game was basic. There was nothing exciting to his game. He wasn't going to fly over you. He wasn't going to shoot mad threes. He had a basic mid-range game, and he would just give it to you every single night.
Right.
So I think that's part of it. The second part of that is, yes, coming from someone else other than Paul Pierce, he's 100% right. LeBron, you can't call yourself a GOAT if you can't take this team out the first round. Period. You can't even. I mean, we've had discussions about how I feel. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Everything else after that, for me,
Right.
conversation. You're not even in you're not even in Kobe's conversation. Where if you have a five, number five best player in the league in Anthony Davis. That fair to say?
Yeah.
Kobe got kicked out the first round with nobody. Just him. If Kobe had won, Lamar Odom is not considered a top five player in the league. He's never been considered a top five player in the league. Let's be clear, okay? There's no way Kobe has a top five player in the league and doesn't win a chip. Ask Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
So for all those who want to come down on Paul Pierce, I understand because he is a hater. I get it. It's coming from a place of hate. You never liked LeBron, never will, and I understand that. But he does make a very valuable point. LeBron, we don't want to hear about the bubble. We don't want to hear about things that's going on in the background. We don't want to hear about you have no shooters. We don't want to hear about them putting the ball in the basket. I don't want to hear about that.
Right.
What I want to see is a stat line that says 40, 20, and 10. That's all I want to see. Anything else means absolutely nothing. You see Jokic and his stat lines. You see what your boy from Utah had to do in a loss.
Mm-hmm.
What's your boy's name?
Mitchell?
Spider.
Yeah, Mitchell, yeah.
He said, "Oh, y'all not scoring? All right. I'll take over. Don't worry about it. Just move over.
57.
Just move over.
57.
Just move over. If we have to compete with my 57, I'll give you this 57. No problem. That's what superstars do. Damian Lillard, hey, yo, guys, move out of the way. You know what time it is. Get out of the way. We know what it is. So when I hear Lakers fans talk these excuses about shooters and Rondo hurt and Avery Bradley hurt, bro, you have Anthony Davis, who just dropped a stat line that's respectable. What, 30, 12, 5, and 3? Like, this is what we expect from AD every game.
Right.
We expect the same for LeBron James. And I'm not giving him a pass because he's supposed to be the king. He's better than what he's playing, and maybe they don't have the chemistry yet. But he better hurry up because them Blazer boys are not playing.
No, they're not. They're not. I think it was also cool to see LeBron and Melo in the playoffs again, going at each other. Best friends, 17 years in the league. I mean, bro, when you think about it, if somebody asks you, "Hey, how long do you think LeBron and Carmelo's been in the league?" You might say, "Well, 12, 13, 14." When it's like 17 years,
they're about to hit Kobe status, being in the league for 20 years.
They should. They
20.
should.
24 years of NBA excellence. I'm not even going to take that OKC Houston, those two debacles when it comes to Melo's career. Other than that, LeBron and Melo, man, beautiful careers. Especially, obviously Melo needs some chips.
I mean, when it's all said and done, Carmelo should be comfortably in the top 10 scoring of all time. But it's all said and done.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
First ballot.
And fans can say what they want about Melo and the defense, and I don't give a shit. I mean, and man can still play ball. He's still effective. Can still do what he does, man. Why not? And they kept saying, "Oh, what I would rather have Jared Dudley over Carmelo." I haven't seen Jared Dudley play in the playoffs not one time.
Smoking that.
I'm like,
good.
And I'm like, you rather have him than Carmelo?
Those people that mentioned that stupid analogy, they don't know ball because Jared Dudley hasn't seen hasn't seen the same game that Melo's seen. Like he's not even in the same planet, universe, neighborhood. He's not even. No, don't. It's disrespectful to even mention Jared Dudley and Carmelo Anthony in the same goddamn sentence. How dare you? Don't be disrespectful. See, I don't, and that's the thing. I don't mind you saying some things that could be, debated.
Uh-huh.
Just don't be disrespectful. That's it.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. Um, the last point I'll bring up. I know we'll go more in detail as time goes on, but the draft lottery was last night. For those who don't know, Minnesota does have the number one overall pick. If you're a Knicks fan, just another like me. I'm not playing y'all. I'm a Knicks fan too, so I go through it with y'all every year,
Every year.
thinking we're gonna get one or top three or two. Just put me in this space where I can get a really good player for my team, and then you give me eighth. I mean, there are some there have been some good players who have been drafted eighth, 9th, 10th, 13th. Like, I put out a tweet early in the week that, even Donovan Mitchell was like a 13th, 14th overall pick.
Kobe
And
was
he and
13.
Cole was 13, and
Manu was second round.
Manu second round, Tony Parker late first round, Draymond Green is second round. We can go on and on, but again, so 14 was Boston, 13 New Orleans, 12 Sacramento, 11 San Antonio, 10 Phoenix, 9 Washington, 8 New York, 7 Detroit, Atlanta 6, Cleveland 5, Chicago 4, Charlotte 3, Warriors 2, and Minnesota 1. So that tells you right now. The rumor is that the Warriors may not even keep the pick because they want to use that for an asset to get better players, which is okay because now they're in a win mode now, and they're gonna come like I mentioned Brooklyn when the Warriors come back fully healthy next year with Curry and Thompson and Green, everybody's all right. Already a playoff top 4 team right there, along with the guy who they drafted if they intend to keep him. If not, they're going to use that asset to get more players. But just off real quick, top of your head, what you make of the lottery? Minnesota winning. We're both in New York right now, so New York getting eighth, and like, who you think should be the first overall pick for Minnesota with what they have right now, and who can New York get at eighth?
Well, I shed a tear. I shed a Denzel glory tear once I saw it was slow. It was like I shed a Denzel glory tear once again. Another year where the Knicks don't pick number one. I find it ironic that the Golden State Warriors, heading into a new arena, coming off a terrible season, gets the number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
I find it comical because the Knicks have tried for 2 to 3 years to get the number 1 pick,
Yeah,
and they can't get the number 1 pick.
they can't get number two.
They can't even get number 2.
Number two.
So, I found it ironic when I was like, oh, I thought Golden State was either going to get the number one or number 2 pick.
I thought so too.
Specifically because of the arena coming up, and because they want Golden State to be a winner.
Mm-hmm.
They do. So why not? Why would you want to get a whole new arena with players and the team is bad? No, it's not going to work. When it comes to Minnesota, they already have Karl Anthony Towns. They have D'Angelo Russell. Now, depends on the strategy. If we're trying to make D'Angelo a 2 guard and not a point guard, you get the best point guard available, which is Ball.
LaMelo Ball.
If you're trying to move, trying to put D'Angelo off the ball and make everybody else off the ball, is the pass first point guard, doesn't take shots, wants to get everybody involved. Perfect for this type of offense in this day and age, as well as he's tall, 6'8",
Mm-hmm.
has vision. But if you want to get a scoring guard, maybe you go make Cole Anthony. Maybe you go Halliburton. Who knows? But it depends on what kind of direction the coach is going to go. I would say pick the best. I'm always about the best available player. No position. Pick the best player at their position and go from there. So if that was the case, for me, I'm picking either the center from Memphis or Ball. One of those two.
So if you're Minnesota, you take Ball or Weissman.
Those two are the best players at their positions that are available right now that I've seen. I'm sure other people are gonna, have the ability to tell me, well, I've seen this person, I've seen this person. But from what I've seen, those two are the best.
I think, real quick, I think Minnesota would take the Ant-Man, Edwards. They might keep D'Lo at the 1, and to appease Towns, so he don't try to get a trade out. You get Ant-Man to kind of be the replacement for Wiggins, who was the 2-3. They don't have that right now. So you get Towns and Ant-Man and D'Lo. That's pretty good. Now they could trade that pick. We all know that Towns and D'Lo and Devin Booker are the best of friends. Devin Booker got a 4-year contract left with Phoenix. Can Phoenix even be enticed with the first pick, some other assets for Devin Booker? I don't know, but that's also in Twitter land the last couple of days that Minnesota could get Devin Booker if they trade the first overall pick. If I'm New York, to go to New York real quick, by the time you get to 8th man, there's no LaMelo, no Ant-Man, no Weissman, maybe no Obi Toppin. They need a point guard. And I know you mentioned to get the best available guy in the draft. I agree with that. But who's going to be out there? And some have said this could be a weak draft. Do you go get the position you need? The Knicks need a lot of help in many areas. That's number one. But they don't have a point guard. You already have R.J. Barrett there as your 2, maybe a 3. You got Mitchell Robinson.
Is Knox a bust?
I was gonna say Kevin Knox is right now your 3-4 kind of guy. I think I got to see one more year out of him. Man. If they're giving Ntilikina all this time to improve, I want to give Kevin Knox all that time, the same amount of time to improve as well.
They gave Frank 4 years.
Frank was drafted in 2017, so this would be this would be the 4th year.
He is who he is, bro. He is who he is, bro.
And that's why I want to see Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox is going into his 3rd year, so I want to be fair. I want to see what he does, what he can do, how can he improve. If not, then they got to make a move.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiment. I just I see the writing on the wall. Please continue.
So if the Knicks need a point guard, and now if they go with the Halliburton or Cole Anthony at number 8. Are you sitting back? I know you're not a Knicks fan. You're a Brooklyn Nets fan. I see.
I can speak objectively about the NBA.
Don't matter to you.
I can speak objectively about the NBA. You know how I get down, baby. I'll give you the objective. Go ahead.
If New York picks Cole Anthony at that number 8, are you sit back saying, you know what? For what it's worth, at number 8, seeing the talent and they went for the need, I'm cool with that.
Well, Cole Anthony's coming off of injury. That's number 1.
Right.
Number 2, so I don't know how that's going to affect him. Number 2, it would depend on if all the other point guards did not get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
If Ball is still there somehow, some way,
doubt it. At 8, doubt it.
Right?
I said if Obi Toppin is available at 8, which I doubt. He might go 5, 6, 7. Which I doubt.
Okay, let's go from top to bottom. Golden State don't need a point guard.
No.
Minnesota don't need a point guard.
Probably not. Like you mentioned, they moved D'Lo to the 2.
Okay, who's the 3rd one? Who's the 3rd?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Do they need a point guard? No, they have Rozier, don't they?
Yeah. They got Monk. They got Devontae Graham. They got Rozier.
They have guards. They're not looking at guards.
Chicago.
They just picked up Kobe, don't they?
from North Carolina. Okay.
They don't need a point guard.
Cavaliers, they got Sexton.
They don't need a point guard.
Atlanta, Trae Young.
They don't need a point guard.
Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't know who their point guard is.
Ish Smith from last I remember. So yeah, technically, the fact that you don't know who their point guard is means they need a point guard.
So again, we're hypothetically we're going to be the same spot we were in 09, where we could have had Curry at number 9, but then the Warriors picked him right before us.
Yeah. So I'm just So wait. So you said Detroit was number 7?
Yes.
Yeah. So listen. Depending on how these teams go and how they move, these GMs are never, you think they're going to move one way and they don't. But I honestly don't believe that, I don't believe that these guards are going to still be, these guards are going to be taken. I don't believe these guards are going to be. I think they're still going to be there based on the teams not needing point guards. So
listen, man. I think it'd be a miracle if LaMelo Ball drops to number 8. It'd be a miracle. I'd be shocked.
This is what's going to happen. He's going to drop to 7, and Detroit's going to pick him. Just like Golden State that year when Golden State picked at 7 and the Knicks picked at 8.
Yeah, when they picked Curry, we picked Jordan Hill. Before DeRozan and before Brandon Jennings.
One pick. It just seems like that's the method of operandi. That's the brand of the Knicks. Mm-hmm. They don't. I mean, again, we still haven't figured out who was the one that scouted Kristaps Porzingis, and if he's still on the Knicks roster, like if he's still on the Knicks payroll. We haven't even figured out who was the one that scouted him, because technically, it was a good scout. KP turned out to be a good player. But no one on the Knicks is taking credit for that, nor is he or she able to do it again. I don't know why. There's your Knicks in a nutshell.
I mean, listen,
bro.
I love you too. We got 2 months to go. We'll figure out how this draft is going to work out. The New York could trade the pick for all we know. We have no idea. But they have some options. We'll see where it goes, man. I really want them to succeed, and I think the NBA can always be better when you have a Knicks relevant, competitive in a playoff spot. All the high profile teams like New York, LA, Chicago, Philly, Boston. You get those teams better than what they are now, like New York. It just makes the NBA better, man. Sometime the Knicks will get the number 1 overall pick. It's been 35 years. I've seen the Cavaliers get 4 number 1 picks in the last 15 years. I've seen Minnesota get two first overall picks. And I'm like, you mean to tell me the New York Knicks can get the 1 overall pick in 35 years?
Orlando, Cleveland, who else?
New Orleans last year.
Seattle, New Orleans, or Seattle, or I should have said OKC. Portland. You just said New Orleans. Who else? Toronto. No, Toronto.
No, I don't think Toronto got that. No, because Toronto always been pretty much in the playoffs. So they did Philly.
Philly. Yeah, we've had a hand. Boston in the 1.
Yeah, Philly had the 1 pick when they picked Fultz that year, remember?
Come on, y'all. It just seems like the Knicks are destined to be losers.
It's got to stop, man. It's got to stop. Adam Silver, you got to help us out here, bro.
Destined to be losers, bro. Destined.
You can find Denny Blanco on both Twitter and Instagram, and I am Denny Blanco. Got a new show out called Denny Talks on Instagram Live. Every Thursday,
8 p.m., baby. You know what it is. Thursday, 8 p.m., baby.
I am Denny Blanco. You can find me on Twitter right there in the bottom, Randy J. Cruz. You can find the podcast on the Ball is Life Podcast Network, which you can find on SoundCloud, Spotify, ballislife.com, and Apple Podcasts. And if you're a fan of the video, you can find the full video on the Cruise Control Podcast Network on YouTube. Denny Blanco, my man, thank you, and I appreciate it.
all day, every day, till we see each other again, baby.
That's right. Take it easy, man.
Later.
All right.